Welcome back to the show of shows. On the weekend, we do animation, we do cartoons. We go back to the time where you would wake up as a kid in your jammies with a bowl of cereal. You would put on the family television and get cartoons. The better cartoons were on Saturday, the lesser cartoons were on Sunday. Sunday, they were syndicated. You had the national networks. Now, it did bleed over a little, but we don't even care. Let's just do cartoons on Saturday and Sunday. Today we're doing Watchmen Chapter 2. Why is it Chapter 1? Why is it Chapter 2? I get into some of that. I did enjoy Chapter 2 far more than I did Chapter 1. But you have to listen all the way through to get to the reasoning for that. So guys, it's AKAPAD. This is the Film Buff Podcast. And let's get some tunes in.
Quiet on the set!
Camera speed.
Sound production, take one.
Action!
Watchmen Chapter 2. Anyone that's involved with my YouTube efforts, you guys know how often I've referenced the Watchmen maxi series. Yes, I call it maxi series. It's not a graphic novel. Also on YouTube, I've done a good job. I documented and gave a lot of thoughts on Zack Snyder's live-action Watchmen movie. I make arguments for his solution for the final, which that's why we want to watch Watchmen Chapter 2, to see if they stick the landing with how our villain or hero, I look at Ozymandias as a hero in Watchmen, but how he creates world peace. In the movie, it's a couple nuclear strikes, and that's fine, because he even got Dave Gibbons, the original Watchmen. And it's weird I have to say original, because now there's been other people to draw the Watchmen characters, but he's the guy behind the original series. But Zack Snyder got Dave Gibbons to illustrate panels of those strikes. So they redrew the ending of the Watchmen comic of issue 12, just so they could adapt it for the screen. A very noble effort, and that is such a awesome through line, and it's all inside baseball. It's all these things we absolutely love about a lot of this stuff. Watchmen Chapter 1, we talked about it. Not impressed. I've just not quite there. Not looking forward to Watchmen Chapter 2 at all. But this, when it came available on Amazon Prime Direct, VOD or POD, Prime on Demand, I don't know what you call it. My interest repeaked, and here's the wild thing: as I was gearing up to buy this, because it was $20, and it didn't drop in price at all. It might have been $25 and $20 to rent. It magically became available on HBO Max right when I was at that breaking point. So I think at this point I will buy The Brutalist, so we can talk about it, because I do want to do the best of 2024. I'm thinking about calling it the AKAPAD Awards, because the Academy Awards are trash nowadays. And I hate that term. I hate just saying things are trash, but I'm always forever unhappy with any of their nominations. Not the winners. We can't even get through the nominations anymore. So what is Watchmen Chapter 2? Watchmen Chapter 2 is relatively issues 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, or 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12 of the original maxi series. Why do we not call Watchmen a graphic novel? Because it wasn't designed to be in the format that you would hold in your hand. It is a collected edition. It is a collected format. The original format for the Watchmen is 12, and they did miss some of their ship dates. Month to month, 12 months, you get one story. They call that a maxi series. Watchmen is not even a mini series. It's a maxi series because it stretches past 6 issues. Most comic book miniseries at this time were 4 issues or 6. So Watchmen breaks all these forms, and then later became a graphic novel, and very low energy historians or comic book wannabe commentators maybe you can call me one of them as well. Call it a graphic novel. Watchmen Chapter 2 sticks the landing. We get our alien invasion. But we have to pay a price. We pay a price for dialogue, voice acting that doesn't quite feel. You just don't feel it. That's a tough thing. I know. It's a platitude. Hate me for it. We have animation that looks like it's out of Poser 2005. Voice sync, lip sync, it takes you out. But we do get a designed world. We get a world that looks like the comic book. We get character design that literally looks like it walked out of the comic book. We get some concessions, we get some changes, but we get all these things. We get the return of Night Owl, the return of Silk Spectre, the two of them falling in love. We get Ozymandias talking about the real dialogue, and I went to one of the panels where, see, we have to make the argument that Ozymandias had it all figured out. He knew everything that the comedian was going to do, which is,
So
in the
we're
beginning,
talking
or
a new
off-
way to
off
look at
original,
the story.
off page 1, scene 1. Ozymandias is able to take out the comedian in absolute certainty, because not of what the comedian uncovered is what he anticipated. Ozymandias is able to effectively outsmart everyone in this movie. We'll say comic book or whatever, but he's able to do what he's able to do. And we have to believe him when he says that faking this alien invasion, because that's the point of Watchmen, is we fake an alien invasion. We hide it. We kill 1 million people to save billions. This is a Star Trek argument, but that's fine because we like those arguments, to create utopia. So what's not included here is the epilogue for the comic. We see life has moved on and everyone is older and happier. Relationships are mended. There's a utopia within the characters of Watchmen that we get in the original scripture, in the gospel, as I like to call it. We don't get that here. So people like to leave it open-ended, because Rorschach, he mails a journal to the New Frontiersman, which is the tabloid magazine. It's a conspiracy magazine. I guess maybe it's targeted to emulate the National Review, which I don't think National Review is conspiracy theory at all. And we end our saga here with someone being pressed. And, we get that scene here. They're pressed. You got to put out a new story. They're pressed to put out a new story. And then the journal is sitting there to get read. Ozzy knows who this guy is. He knows he's slightly mad. The rest of the world, right? I mean, he successfully smeared Rorschach. He set him up to go to prison. Why did he do that? Why did our boy Ro go to prison for murder? Ozymandias is smearing his name before anything happened, and timeline wise. So we go ahead issues on this. So it would take us a few months to realize that Ozymandias set up Ro. So does he care about the journal? No. He probably knows about the journal. He knows enough to set him up. And a lot of people want to use this as like this gotcha, to where, he's not going to get away with it. The words in the diary will do in Ozymandias. The words in the diary will get our boy and deliver justice. But not really. Because we see that they're in utopia. And everyone's happy, and everyone agrees that Ozzy made the hard choice, but he figured things out. So we don't quite get that, but people wanted to go into this looking for the alien invasion, and we waited so long to get any type of representation for the alien invasion within the context of a Watchmen adaptation, that we wanted to see more. We wanted to see more of the turmoil on the streets, the blood-soaked concrete in Times Square, all of it. But this was way more entertaining than Chapter 1. It really makes me question why. I get you can have a production pipeline where you can say, hey, we can release this twice. We're going for length, kind of what they did with Infinite Crisis, which was 3 parts, 6 hours. The way that they're animating, their positioning within the production allows them to do long-form animated content with some concessions. Some of those concessions will be renderings and frame rates that might take you out of it. It is as stylized as Across the Spider-Verse and Wild Robot and even Flow. But, some of Flow's renderings took you out of that. So when we get into a presentation level, things have to look good to capture the audience. That's just the way things work. This is there and not there. It's hard for me to recommend Chapter 2 without completely enjoying Chapter 1. But here we go. Here's the caveat for a recommendation. If you know the gospel, if you really know that 12-issue maxi series down to your core, just watch Chapter 2, skip Chapter 1, and measure it against some of these things I'm saying. AKAPAD here. Rock and roll.
Okay, that's a wrap.